Hello, my friends. Anna is here, and I'm talking to you today about why you need to start investing for retirement. Because let's face it, it's going to come for all of us one day. And the bottom line is the sooner we start doing it, the better. This is Daily Juice, and I'm excited that you can join me. So here's why I think you need to consider investing. Yesterday we talked about the type of plans that you can consider when you're thinking about vehicles, where to save for retirement. Today I want to talk about the reasons, the actual whys, right? Because for most of us, we need to have a motivation to do it. And I think the general motivation is that we all want to have that financial point in our life. Retirement is such a funny word, right? Because today it doesn't quite mean the same for most people what it used to be when our grandparents retired. Because it doesn't necessarily mean not working, right? It actually means having enough resources, right? Reaching that financial freedom so that you don't have to work, or you work because you love doing that type of work. So let's focus on that financial freedom. And so why do you want to get there? Ask yourself that question. But here are the reasons that I think are quite important to consider. And so the first one is time. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for joining. So time is a very interesting commodity. I think it is a commodity because that's something that we cannot get more of, right? So if you think about it, wherever you are on the spectrum of getting to the retirement or financial security point, maybe you're 10 years away, maybe you're 5 years away, maybe you're 25 or 30 years away. So at some point, you're going to get there. And what I want to point out is that the more time you have, the better you will be. So for those of you who are closer to that, don't get disappointed, right? If you haven't really done anything or haven't done much to prepare yourself for that, do it now, okay? That's the whole idea with time, because time allows for your investments to grow. I was talking to a client earlier today explaining the same idea about why if we have more time, we can invest more aggressively, versus when we don't have time, we need to be more conservative with our investments. It's the same idea here. The more time we have, the more compound effect we can have, the faster our money can grow, because we want the return from the market to help us get there, okay? So that's reason number one. Number two, we talked about how a lot of people leave money on a table when they're participating in certain retirement plans. And so one of those options that many don't consider is a match or free money that the employer provides or contributes to your own retirement plan. So if you have a plan at work, you haven't considered contributing to it, or you aren't contributing enough, so I challenge you to take a look at that. Most typical match is about 3%, okay, of your own contribution. So can you start contributing 3% so that you can get the match? Because it's free money. So why are you leaving that on the table? So if we have the time, we have additional resources such as contributions by your employers. So how do you think that equation is going to work? It's going to work much faster, right? Regardless if our time is 25 years or 5 years. All we want is to speed things up, because let's face it, right? We all want to get to that financial freedom point. And then lastly, reason number three is that the earlier you start, the much easier it will be for you to adjust your lifestyle, okay? And sometimes you're gonna have to take and make radical changes, okay? I talk about this a lot on my money dates, where we have to have savings goals, right? And so if we come up with savings goals and we know what we're going for, therefore we can come back and look at our lifestyle, and perhaps we can make sacrifices today, right? So that we can get to that future point that we're really working hard for. So look at yourself. Why do you have to do certain things today versus maybe making some sacrifices and changes? Or maybe it's not a sacrifice. Maybe it's not all that bad. Maybe it's just an adjustment. A slight adjustment sometimes is all it's needed, and I'm talking about maybe adjustment in your spending, maybe adjustment in your income generating activities, because that's something that you have a lot more power of, right? I know you can control your expenses. That's probably where we all will go say towards and say, all right, I'm not going to buy Starbucks today. I'm not going to eat out too much. And okay, that's fine to do, but I don't think it's a long-term sustainable kind of activity. So I would challenge you to think about lifestyle changes as far as, can you make more income? Because again, remember, in my equation of where we have time, we have additional resources, right, in the form of contributions by your employer. But check this out. If you had additional streams of income that allowed you to save on the top of everything else, how do you think that's going to work out for you at the end? Those are my 3 reasons, and I challenge you to think about them, right? This is the end of the year, and if you haven't started saving in a retirement plan, let's take a look. We still have about 2.5 months to go this year, but if we can't make it this year, let's set up a pretty smooth start for us in 2018, because again, the sooner you do it, the better it's going to be. This is Anna and my Daily Juice Show. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you tomorrow.